guys, I hope you are having a great day and a more productive day than I had. The weather is starting to set in here in East Tennessee, and looking at the radar, it looks like it's going to be really rainy again tomorrow. So I don't think I'm going to go detecting tomorrow, but I will try and go on some sort of adventure even though it's raining. Today I went detecting for a little while, as you saw, and the weather kind of set in on me. I didn't find anything except some trash, well, some spoons and random things like that, but things I would consider trash. And that got me to thinking about items that I've collected over the years that, in my opinion, were trash items, but I still kept them because for some reason or another they meant enough to me to bring home, and I threw into these bins. And I have a whole lot of these types of bins that are just full of random things. And they're not necessarily Civil War relics or World War II relics or any type of military relics. They're just relics that I've found. And a lot of them are 1800s, some of them are 1900s, and they're just things that I think every relic hunter ends up with, these types of bins they have in their collection of just things they have collected over the years. So I thought today we would just take a quick look in a couple of these bins. And I like to look through them every once in a while because sometimes I find something that surprises me. And in fact, I think I found something like that today. So we're going to look at that and just have a quick look at some of these more common items that you find metal detecting, but are not necessarily amazing treasures, but still kind of neat all the same. So let's have a look through and just quickly breeze through some of these items. Over here are some scales, and these are different types of hanging scales. This is one type that would have had on the front of here, and you can't really see it because I didn't ever clean this up much, but there's actually some numbers running down, and it had a pull weight where there would be a hook here on the bottom of the scale, and you would hang something from it. And depending on how far the little meter came down the numbered side, you could tell how much something weighed. This was actually the spring mechanism that would regulate how far that needle would come down and show how much something weighed. So those are neat items to know about. If you ever find those things with those holes in them, you will know what they are. And this is a weight from a scale as well, kind of a big brass weight for a balance type scale so they could measure things out. Another thing you always find relic hunting is Rains guides. For some reason I've kept a bunch of these. I guess they're just a neat piece of old brass. You find clock parts, a lot of spoons, forks, knives, things of that nature, and some of these are actually quite old, and I guess maybe that's why I kept them. These pewter spoon bowls are really old, and I think those are pretty neat. You also find a lot of just random things that catch your eye, like this Ford emblem caught my eye, and this little American shield caught my eye. I'm not sure what it is. It's made of aluminum on the back. And another thing you find a lot of is lantern parts, and I wanted to pull this out and show it to you for any of you guys who might go out relic hunting. You will encounter all of these different parts. The little spinning wheel over here that would raise the wick, the vented part here that sat on top of the oil bowl, these little arms over here that held the globe on top. So these are all really good pieces to familiarize yourself with, so that when you're in the field and you find something like that, you can recognize it. And maybe that's why I keep big bins like this as well. So it's always a good reference for me to go back and say, I've seen that before. What is that? Let me look through my junk bins. And you might find something interesting. Another thing interesting here is that I found a lot of are these little things here. And I was told by someone that they were for buckets. This would go on each side of the bucket, and that's where you could hold the handle and carry the bucket. And that is right. I looked it up and they were right about that. But I think this one's kind of neat because it has a number 3 on it. And I found it in a Civil War encampment area. And I'm not sure, but that might have been like a bucket for a cannon where they would dip the sponge in water and clean the barrel out to make sure there was no embers in it. I don't know why else there would be a numbered bucket in a Civil War camp area. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You also find a lot of civilian type smalls. These little buckles are kind of neat. And this shield thing, I found this in a Civil War camp. It has a little hinge here. And there was actually another side to the shield. I gave it to the property owner. But I believe that might have had a picture inside of it. And it could have been a Civil War soldier's. I don't know. And I don't know why it was in my junk bin. So I'm glad I pulled out my junk bin today. I want to set that aside and research it a little more. You find a lot of tags. I found a lot of these like cigarette cases and makeup cases, makeup compacts. A lot of little dog tags and things like that. And you find just random things. Here's some bear tags where someone tagged bears' ears here in Tennessee. Kind of creepy. But I wanted to encourage you guys to keep all your trash and things that you might not even consider treasure, because they are a part of the historical record. And just in learning about these things, I'm able to contribute to the historical record when people ask, what is this? On forums or things like that. I immediately pull up this knowledge of things that I've found. One other reason to keep all your scraps is sometimes you will find something in your scraps that is not a scrap. And I believe that is the case right here. I was digging through here tonight and I came across this little scrap of brass right here. And I actually believe that this is the skin off of a Civil War belt buckle. If you look around the rim here, it has pretty much the exact same rim design as a US belt buckle. And I can just vaguely make out what looks like an S on there. So I believe that I found a Civil War belt buckle mixed in with all my trash. And I haven't even really gone through it all. I just pulled some off the top to give you guys an example and to share with you today. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at one man's trash. I'm going to take a closer look at this. I'm pretty sure it's a Civil War belt buckle, so I'm glad I went through it tonight. See you tomorrow, probably in the rain.